Hello, friends, and welcome to the Football Fanatics Show with your friend Russell K, my partner in crime, Mr. David Florio. He's actually out and about, and he'll be joining us pretty soon in the upcoming shows for Football Fanatics. Coming to you live from our Niagara Falls studios. It's your friend Russell K. And we have a pretty cool show for you. We're going to start off the show with some fun facts about week one in the NFL. Then we'll go to the power rankings. That's right. At the end of the preseason, we'll look at all 32 teams and find out where do they stack up. Then lastly, yes, it's the Russell K predictions for week one in the NFL. Thank you so much for listening and watching. And don't forget, we are being brought to you by Football Fanatics and also Music Dreams USA Radio. Alexa, play Music Dreams USA Radio. We are your home for the best mix of party music, and also party shows as well. We're with you 24/7, playing a great mix of music. Make sure you join me in Alexa weekdays Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. Now, let's go ahead and check out some fun facts in the NFL. I got some pretty cool things to share with you here, and we'll see if you agree or don't. This will be pretty good. So, check this out. The NFL 2023 season schedule fun fact. So this is going to be the NFL's 104th season is scheduled to begin on Thursday, September 7th, with the regular season running through Sunday, January 7th, 2024. Can you imagine? This is the 104th year in the NFL. Wow, that's amazing. Now, here comes some pretty cool things for you. The defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs will host the NFL kickoff game for the Thursday opener on September 7th at Gia Field up at Arrowhead Stadium. Incredibly against, guess who? Craig Sherman's Detroit Lions. That's right. Then we'll talk about the predictions in a little bit, but Kansas City and the Detroit Lions are going to kick off this season this Thursday. Actually, just a few days away. Who do you like in that one? In a few moments, I'll tell you who I like. All right. Since 2004, there's 18 defending Super Bowl champions have played in the first game to open the season. And those teams have gone 14-4 in those games. However, the in 2021 Super Bowl champion Rams lost their opener last year against the Bills. They lost that game 31-10. This season's schedule will feature 14 playoff rematches from last season. That's the most in a season in the NFL history. Wow, that's pretty awesome. That includes a rematch of the Super Bowl champion, the Chiefs and Eagles, both conference championships. It'll be the Bengals and Chiefs and also the 49ers and the Eagles. And all four divisional round games. That's right. You got the Bengals and the Bills in a rematch, the Jags and the Chiefs. Then you've got the Cowboys and 49ers, and also the Giants and the Eagles. This will be the third straight season that each team will play 17 games over 18 weeks after the NFL had played a 16-game regular season schedule from 1978 to 2020, excluding 1982 and 1987 strikes shortened seasons. All right, then. So that's some fun facts for you here. Now let's switch gears and let's talk about the final season team rankings. All right, so who do you think is number one? I'll give you three guesses, and the first two don't count. You got it. The Kansas City Chiefs are coming in at number one in the early part of this ranking, and well deserved. This team has won 2 championships in 4 seasons. This roster is loaded, and Andy Reid and staff. What can you say? Yeah, they lose Eric Bieniemy to the Washington Commanders, but this team, in my opinion, is still going to be rocking and rolling. The roster is absolutely filled. Now, there's one concern now. Here's some breaking news. Kelsey, the tight end for Kansas City, he was actually injured his knee in practice. So he may be questionable for this game Thursday against the Detroit Lions. That's right. Travis Kelce actually injured his knee during practice. So we'll see how that plays out in this game against the Chiefs. But nevertheless, though, my predictions come up a little bit later. But I know Detroit's a lot better than they were a few years ago. And they're definitely on a team on the uprise. But you give me Kansas City Chiefs all day long. They deserve to be at number one. Coming at number two, to me, it's kind of a shocker. Coming at number two, it's the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah, they're a good team. They've turned it around, and Zach has done a great job coaching that team. But here's what's happening: Joe Burrow got hurt during the preseason, so we need to find out, is he fully healed from that injury? And we'll find out if he truly is. If he's healed from that injury, then yeah, I kind of do like Kansas City coming in number two. It's a team up and running, and they've been to the Super Bowl, they've been to a championship game, so they're doing a really good job. So we'll see what happens. Number three, the San Francisco 49ers. For me, this is a little bit of a head scratch. I mean, who's going to be playing quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers? You've got a loaded team, but there's kind of a question mark at the quarterback position. Oh, by the way, one of the most important positions in the NFL. Yes, your defense is good. You have great offense, but who is your quarterback? Yeah, Kyle Shanahan, he is a offensive coach. However, does he have enough pieces in place to overlook the quarterback position? We'll see what happens. So right now, San Francisco does come in at number three. The Philadelphia Eagles coming in at number four. To me, this is a shocker. If I were to rank right now, I'm picking Kansas City number one, and definitely Philly comes in at number two. I mean, this team was red hot last year, right? No one could beat them. They were just red hot. They were just going through the schedule. And, you get to Super Bowl, you're winning that game, and you lose it late to the Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. So I kind of like Philly at number two, but right now they come in at number four. Number five, the Buffalo Bills. What can you say about the Buffalo Bills, right? They have been there. They've won the AFC East for the last 3 years. Can they make it 4 times in 4 years? We'll soon find out. I mean, Buffalo, yeah, you lose Edmonds to Chicago, and there's definitely been some changes to the Buffalo roster. However, you got Sean McDermott, the head coach, and oh, by the way, a defensive coordinator. You get rid of Leslie Frazier and his bend but don't break defense, and you got Sean McDermott, who's well known as a very aggressive defensive coordinator. He will bring the pressure all season long. Buffalo's defense. Is there going to be a transition? Absolutely. But Sean McDermott is going to bring the pressure. He's going to use and put his players in the best positions to make plays. So right now, coming in at number five, I kind of like Buffalo at number five right now because, they've knocked on the door, but they've not been able to take advantage of the opportunities they've been given. Is this the year that the Buffalo Bills silence all the critics and finally get to the big dance? We'll soon find out. So right now, I do like Buffalo at number five, and we'll see as the season progresses. The number six, the Los Angeles Chargers. I do like Los Angeles. Last year, they started to come on hot, and they actually started playing really, really good. They've got a great quarterback in Justin Herbert. This guy is a superstar. I love this guy. Great quarterback, great coaching. And as I mentioned, I like the way that Los Angeles Chargers were playing last year. So coming in number six right now, I like it. Let's see how the season progresses, though, for the Los Angeles Chargers. Coming in at number seven, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Man, talk about a team that turned around last year. It is the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'll tell you what, this is a great team. They're young, they're loaded. You've got a great quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. You got a great coach, Doug Peterson. You got a great defense. Your offense, as I mentioned, is great as well. So right now, picking Jacksonville number 7, I like that for them right now. Let's see though, this year though, I mean Jacksonville's schedule is going to be a lot harder than it was last year. So let's see how they respond to that schedule. So right now, number 7, as I mentioned, I do like Jacksonville coming in at number 7. Number 8, the Dallas Cowboys. Are they ever going to get over the hump? America's team. You've had all the pieces in place, but somehow, some way, it's either injuries or something always comes to haunt the Dallas Cowboys. Is this the year that they can finally get over the hump and make it to the playoffs and make a deep run? Dak Prescott is still a great quarterback. You got some good coaching there. Defense has always been good. Offense has always been good. But the question for Dallas is, can you put it all together and can you finally make it happen? Well, we're about to find out as this year kicks off here in just a few days. Coming in at number 9, we just spoke about them, the Detroit Lions. I like the Lions. What an amazing job they've done. From the laughing stock team in the NFL to a bona fide contender. I am picking Detroit. I'm going to go on records right now and tell you, I am picking the Detroit Lions to not only make it to the playoffs, to make a deep run in the playoffs. This team is ready. Great coaching. They've got a great team. They made some great additions in the offseason. And so let's see if they can put it all together and finally get Detroit Rock City into the playoffs. So coming at number 9, I like that pick. Number 10, the New York Jets, and guess who? Aaron Rodgers bolts the Green Bay Packers to come over to New York. Does Aaron Rodgers have enough in the tank to get the New York Jets to the promised land? Listen, I love Aaron Rodgers. He's a great quarterback with a proven record. But let's be serious here. Aaron Rodgers is not the same Aaron Rodgers that the Green Bay Packers picked back in the day. Green Bay let him go just like they let Brett Favre go, because actually when Brett Favre was on his decline, Green Bay let him walk. And I think that Aaron Rodgers is also on his decline as well. He still got gas in the tank. But let me tell you something. The AFC East, in my opinion, will be the toughest division this year in the NFL. You look at the Jets, they're a darn good team. Yes, they are. You look at Miami Dolphins, they fought Buffalo all the way and lost a close one in the divisional round. The wild card round, excuse me. And then you've got the New England Patriots. Never count out the New England Patriots. You've got Bill Belichick, and as long as you got Bill Belichick, you have a chance. So I do like New York, right? Huge game. It's a Monday nighter. It's the Bills and the Jets. We'll come back here a little bit later on in the show as I do my predictions a little bit later on. But I do like the Jets. I think they've had a great offseason. You get some former Green Bay Packers to join Aaron Rodgers up in New York. So it's going to be a different New York Jets team. And it kind of reminds you, like last year, it was the Dolphins and Bills all the way to the end. And I'm thinking that it's going to be this year, it's going to be the Jets and the Bills all the way to the end. And that last game will determine who's going to win the AFC East. Moving on. The Baltimore Ravens. You re-sign Lamar Jackson, which I think was a very smart move by Baltimore. Baltimore, you still got the great coach in there. You got a great defense. You got a good offense. And so with Baltimore, though, it just seems like towards the end of the year, somehow, some way, they all fade out. Can Baltimore somehow keep the momentum and carry that into the playoffs if they make the playoffs. I think the AFC East this year, man, you better have a really high winning record if you think you're going to reach the postseason this year. The AFC across is totally loaded. Each team is better. And I think, in order to get the postseason this year, I think you better have a really good winning record. So Baltimore number 11, I do like that. Let's see, though, as I mentioned, can Baltimore, if they get on a winning streak, can they keep the momentum and carry that into the playoffs? We will soon find out. Number 12, the Seattle Seahawks. All my Seahawks fans up in Charlotte, what's up? What's going on? Thank you so much for watching. I like the Seattle Seahawks. You got Pete Carroll. You've got a good offense there, and defense is looking pretty good as well. They also have done some revamping during the offseason. And so it'd be interesting to see if all those pieces that Seattle added, if they can put it all together, if they can make some noise in the NFC. Again, NFC, I don't think the NFC is as strong as the AFC. Yeah, you've got some strong teams. You got Philly, you got San Francisco, you have a few others. But the AFC, come on, man. You've got Buffalo, Kansas City, Cincinnati. You've got some powerhouse teams there. So I think the AFC by far is better than the NFC. The Pittsburgh Steelers coming in at number 13. So all my fans up in Pittsburgh, that's right. We've got you at number 13 for week 1 of the power rankings. Pittsburgh, yeah, they're looking pretty good. You've got the young quarterback there. Defense, you had some pieces offensively. And you know what? You've got Mike Tomlin. I love that guy, man. That guy's a great coach. And talk about motivation. That guy, man, just his intensity and his energy, and so, yeah, I like Pittsburgh at number 13. But again, Pittsburgh, you're in a very tough AFC as a whole, not just your division, but as a whole. If you're going to make the playoffs this year, Pittsburgh, you better win some early games often, and you better not lose the games you should be winning. Your division is to be absolutely critical. You've got to knock off, Cincinnati and amongst others in your division. So against Pittsburgh, if you want to see the postseason this year, you better win early and often, and you better have a winning record in your division. Then we'll see if that's enough to get you into the postseason. Number 14, the Miami Dolphins. This is kind of a shock for me. The Miami's fallen thus far to number 14. Last year, this team was red hot, and, I guess the question mark here, though, is Tua, the quarterback for the Dolphins. I mean, this guy's been injured often and, several concussions. And can he stay healthy? If Tua stays healthy in Miami, their offensive and defensive, it all comes together. And if you have a healthy quarterback, Miami's going to move way up from number 14. And, again, they would be in serious contention for a playoff spot in the AFC. And also, I think it would be pretty cool, though, a 3-way race in the AFC East. What do you think about the Bills, the Jets, and the Dolphins in a 3-way race dogfight to the very end? And, oh, by the way, who does the Bills play at the last game of the year? It's the Miami Dolphins. So, yeah, would that not be cool? The Dolphins and the Patriots along with the Bills. So we'll see how that plays out. But again, I love the AFC East this year. Again, as I mentioned earlier in my show, I think the AFC East will be the best division in football this year. Let's move on. Number 15, the New York Giants. I love what Brian Daboll is doing over there. All right. I love it. I mean, he's taken his offense that he applied in Buffalo, and he's actually doing the same offense, obviously with a different cast of characters up in New York, and it's working. He took to the Giants in his first year as coaching to the playoffs last year. I tip my hat to Brian Daboll. Again, his first year coaching in the Giants, and what does he do? He takes them to the playoffs. So coming in number 15, the NFC to me is not a strong team. I like the Giants making the playoffs again this year as well. I love the Giants. I like what they're doing over there. The Tennessee Titans at number 16. Again, what's going on with Tennessee? You know, you got Derrick Henry, you got some talented players on both sides of the ball. I think Mike Vrabel is a great coach. So what's going on with Tennessee? Why have they not been able to hit the playoffs and make some noise? What's actually on? So I just don't know what's going on with Tennessee. To be honest with you, you got Derrick Henry, you got all the pieces in place. Can Tennessee maybe steal a few games this year on the schedule and maybe try to sneak in as maybe a wild card in the AFC? But as I mentioned, the AFC as a whole, it's going to be really hard to get a playoff spot for anybody in the AFC. I mean, you've got so many good teams, and you're going to have a really good record just to get in. That's just my opinion. Number 17, the Los Angeles Rams. Can you say the rebuilding Los Angeles Rams? A lot of players who took them to the Super Bowl and actually won it are no longer on the team. You've got, oh my God, all these good players they're on different teams right now. So, definitely LA is definitely in a rebuilding mode right now. For them to come in number 17, I don't like that. I think they should be a little bit lower. I don't think that LA Rams have enough to even the vie for a playoff spot in the NFC. As I mentioned, they're in a rebuilding mode right now, and so we'll see how that pans out for them. Number 18, the Green Bay Packers. Wow, what a surprise this one is. Not, you let Aaron Rodgers walk, which, as I mentioned, right? Aaron Rodgers, I'll probably get some rebuttal on this, but let's face it. Aaron Rodgers is not the same Aaron Rodgers. He's on a decline. The question is, how far can he put the Jets on his back and carry them? Again, you're in a crowded AFC. We're about to find out. And so with Green Bay and number of 18 here, but I do love their quarterback. I think Love is going to be a great quarterback. Give him a few years, to get acclimated and really, have Green Bay build that offense around him, just like they did with Rodgers. So I do like the quarterback Love. I love the coach in there, but this is not be a good year for Green Bay, and so we'll see what happens. Number 19, the New England Patriots. Wow, what a shock, right? No, it's not. This team at one point was a dynasty in the NFL. Nobody could beat them. Nobody. But you know what, though? They are where they are. But you've got Bill Belichick, right? And you've got a pretty good nucleus of players there. And obviously, New England's building through the draft, just like the other teams are doing. So for New England, no, you're not going to make the playoffs this year. But I believe that they're going to be a lot better than they were last year. Are they going to challenge in the AFC East? No. You still got some time, New England, to catch up with Buffalo, now the Jets, and also the Dolphins. So New England, you're going to have a better year, but it won't be enough to get you to the playoffs or even the challenge in the AFC East. Coming in number 20, the Minnesota Vikings. Is this really too low of a rating for them? I still think Minnesota is a good team. You got some good players there. I think Kevin O'Connell is doing a great job up in Minnesota. I think that, they got some players. They let some players walk, obviously. But again, I just don't think the NFC as a whole is a very strong, a very strong conference, to be honest. So Minnesota, you've got some pieces there. And, I like actually Minnesota to steal one of those wild card spots. Number 21, the Atlanta Falcons. It just seems like every year the Atlanta Falcons, they're not getting it right. What is the staff and management doing up in Atlanta? I mean, I mean, it just seems like, they're not getting the right pieces. They're not addressing the areas that need to be addressed. And yes, you're in a weak division, right? You've got yourselves, you got Carolina, and so on and so forth. I just don't like what Atlanta's doing up there. I think that something has to give, and we'll soon find out. But Atlanta, I love your city. I love visiting you, but you're not making the playoffs this year. And as far as your division goes, I'm picking you to finish second from last. Here comes the hate mail from ATL. It's all right. It won't be the first time. It won't be the last. The Cleveland Browns at number 22. Cleveland, yeah, you've had a pretty decent offseason. You've made some changes. You got pretty decent, Stefanski is a pretty decent coach. However, I don't think that Cleveland is doing enough. If you want to catch the Bills, the Bengals, the Chiefs, and all those top tier teams, well, you got to make some splashes. You got to make some major trades. You got to do something. You've got to do something to turn around up in Cleveland. The Cleveland fans are just as diehard fans like Buffalo. I love the fans in Cleveland, the dog pound. I've actually had the opportunity to visit the dog pound in a recent game a few years back. And I had the time of my life, man. Those people are crazy. Thank God I got out of Cleveland Stadium alive. But number 22, I kind of found that worthy. Cleveland coming in at number 22. Let's move on. The Chicago Bears at number 23. Chicago, you get Emmons from Buffalo. You made some major free agent signs in the offseason. Right now, you had 23, but Chicago, you're going up as the season progresses. Once the season progresses, I am picking Chicago to steal another wild card spot. That's right. Chicago is going to be there. They're looking good. They made some great. I love what they did in the offseason. As I mentioned, you got some great coaching. And so I'm picking Chicago and Detroit to steal those two wild card spots in the NFC. The New Orleans Saints. New Orleans, I love your city. I love hanging out in New Orleans, but this team this year, you got too many holes to fill right now. You're still not where you need to be. Sean Payton bolted to guess where? The Denver Broncos. And so, nothing else to do, coach. Let's give him a few years, see what he can do to build his system. And in a few years, we'll see where New Orleans is. But this year, as much as I love your city, New Orleans, you're not making much noise this year in the NFC. Number 25, the Carolina Panthers. I got to be careful here now. We have an office in the Carolinas as well as I'm coming to you live from our Niagara Falls studios. I love Carolina. I love the Panthers, and I love the fans. You get Bryce Young. Man, this guy is going to be amazing. But you know what? Bryce will be a superstar in year one in the NFL. He's a great quarterback. I love what Carolina did in the draft. They've got some great pieces. You finally got some good coaching. And but it's going to take Carolina at least a year to maybe 2 years to really turn that into a bona fide contender. So this year, Carolina, I like you. I like what you've done. But I think, you're going to have to give Bryce Young some time to develop as a quarterback and get used to the NFL. Obviously, the NFL is not the same as college. I mean, it's obvious. You're playing against the best of the best every single week. So, Carolina, I love you. And I love our office up in the Carolinas. But this year, I need to give us another year to 2 years, and we'll see where we are at that point. Number 26, the Las Vegas Raiders. What's going on with the Raiders, man? Maybe it's time for Raiders fans, Raiders Nation, maybe to change your costumes. Maybe you need to change your costumes and maybe change the luck up there. Because obviously, you lose Derek Carr, all right, to guess who? New Orleans. And you lose a lot of players. So, Las Vegas, I mean, you're kind of like in the same spot as I just mentioned, Carolina. You've got too many holes on the roster, offensively and defensively. And, you're going to have to do something. maybe you steal a few wins here and there, but again, out Las Vegas, you're in a very tough AFC, and if you even want to sniff the playoffs this year, you better steal some games, and you better win your division. I don't know if that's going to happen this year for Las Vegas. So, Las Vegas, I love visiting the city, and it's a great time, but this is not your year in 2023. The Indianapolis Colts. Check this out, right? Frank Reich gets fired by the Indianapolis Colts, and he ends up in Carolina. That's right. So, Indy, again, Anthony Richardson is going to be your starting quarterback, and I like him. I think he's a really good quarterback. And as I just mentioned, with Chase Young up in Carolina, you've got to give these guys, they've been great quarterbacks in the college ranks, but now you're in the NFL, baby, and you better win, but you're not going to win right away. So again, for Anthony Richardson with the Indianapolis Colts, give him some time to get acclimated to the NFL. And when he does, Indy, at one point, they were a powerhouse too, were they not? It seems like not so long ago. But yeah, give Anthony Richardson some time, and we'll see what happens. The Washington Commanders coming in at number 28. Daniel Snyder, goodbye. You had to sell the franchise. So much drama up in Washington. But you still got a good quarterback, and you've got some good coaching there, And so we'll see what happens with Washington. Can they steal some games against teams that they're not supposed to win against? I think that's going to be a determining factor for the NFC as far as the playoff implications go. Can they steal some games? You got a good coaching. You've got a pretty decent offensive defense. Again, as I mentioned several times throughout my podcast here, the NFC is not a very strong division. Number 29. Yeah, the Denver Broncos. Okay. You've got to give Sean Payton some time. Okay. You just do. I mean, Sean Payton is a Super Bowl winning coach. He's been there. He knows what it takes. It's going to take him some time to build his Denver Broncos the way that he wants to build them. So Denver, you're kind of at the end of the totem pole here. But again, it's going to take you at least another season, maybe two, to get that team turned around. And so we'll see what happens with Denver. The Houston Texans, number 30. The last few years up in Houston, in Texas as a whole, they love football, right? They love their football. But for the Houston Texans, it's been a rough few years, or shall we say a rough 3 years, really. You got some pretty decent signs in the offseason here. But coming in at number 30, I don't anticipate Houston making any noise, if any, in the AFC this year. Number 31, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah, you lose Tom Brady. Finally, the guy retires, he unretires, he retires, he unretires. So it looks like he's permanently retired at this point. And so that's a really big loss for Tampa Bay. Quite frankly, they weren't prepared for Tom Brady to retire. I'm thinking, up in Tampa Bay, they're probably thinking they could probably maybe steal another year to 2 years from Tom Brady. But however, Tom Brady calls it quits, and guess what? Tampa Bay is not ready. So they are coming in at number 31. So, I love the rankings here. A few questionable calls if you'd like, But overall, I do like the rankings. And again, thank you so much for watching Football Fanatics. My partner in crime, Mr. David Florio. He's out and about on special assignment. He'll be back with me on our next show. And again, thank you guys so much for listening and watching. You can watch us live on our YouTube channel, on Facebook, and also LinkedIn as well. We are live right now, being brought to you by Music Dreams USA Radio, your home for Football Fanatics and your home for the Russell Kane Alexa Morning Show. Alexa, play Music Dreams USA Radio. Make sure you join me on the morning show. Man, we have so much fun. We use all kinds of different characters. We get Alexa involved in the show, It's a lot of fun. It's from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday, from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern. Now, are you guys ready? All right, now let's look at the predictions. I hope you're ready for the predictions because here they come. We got some pretty cool predictions, and we're going to see um, who's going to win. So, we're going to run off our show here with some predictions week 1 in the NFL. As I mentioned, you got the Thursday night game. It's coming to you on NBC. 8:20 is kickoff time. It brings us to the Detroit Lions at Kansas City. Detroit, I did pick you as a wild card team this year in the NFC playoffs. However, you're going to Kansas City against the defending Super Bowl. Let me back up. Against the defending 2-time Super Bowl champion. It's hard to win in Kansas City. So Detroit, do I think it's going to be a close game? Somewhat, but I like Kansas City in this game 24-14. Now let's kick off week 1 in the NFL. The Carolina Panthers at the Atlanta Falcons. You can watch that game on Fox, 1 p.m. kickoff. So again, you got two teams that are they're in the rebuilding stages, right? But I like Carolina in this game. I think they have quarterback. They have better players, in my opinion. So I'm picking Carolina to win week 1 against Atlanta. I like Carolina in this game 35-17. We just spoke about them. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Minnesota Vikings. That's another 1 p.m. Game on CBS. And I like the Minnesota Vikings. That's a no-brainer. This game, in my opinion, is not going to be close. I like Minnesota to win this game 35-10. Cincinnati at Cleveland. Another 1 p.m. game on CBS. Let me try that again. Cincinnati and Cleveland. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Let's all say the Cincinnati Bengals. This game, it may be close, but you've got Joe Burrow, an excellent team. And I like Cincinnati in this game 27-14. The Jacksonville Jaguars at the Indianapolis Colts. This game's on Fox, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Jacksonville and Indy. Are you guys ready? 1, 2, 3. And we all say the Jacksonville Jaguars. You got Trevor Lawrence, baby. I love that guy, man. He's an amazing quarterback, and this game will not be close. I'm sorry, Indy fans, but Jacksonville wins this game big, 35-10. San Francisco at Pittsburgh. It's a 1 p.m. game on Fox. This is going to be a really good game. You're going into Pittsburgh, and it's a known fact the West Coast teams always seem to struggle as they have to travel east to play games. So does the East Coast swag catch up with San Francisco? Or are they able to overcome the lag and really put on a game against Pittsburgh? It's going to be a close game, but here's my first upset. I like Pittsburgh in this game, winning in overtime 20-17. You heard it right here on Football Fanatics with your friend Russell K. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game in overtime 20-17. The Tennessee Titans at the New Orleans Saints, another 1 p.m. CBS game. And what do you say about this game, right? Both teams are I mean, if you're going to put a gun to my head and make me choose a team, I'm going to choose the Tennessee Titans. That's right. I like Tennessee in this game. Well, let's say 24-10. The Arizona Cardinals at the Washington Commanders. You've got the worst team in the league in Arizona. That's right. They came in at number 32, and you've noticed I didn't say anything about them, right? I was trying to keep my saying here, but yeah, Arizona, you're at number 32 and you're playing Washington. Washington wins this game. It's a 1 p.m. game on Fox. I like Washington to win this game 27-10. Houston Texans at the Baltimore Ravens. Are you ready? The Baltimore Ravens, 35-10. That is a 425. Actually, correction. Apologies. It's a 1 p.m. game on CPS. Philadelphia at the New England Patriots. No brainer. It's Philly. That's a 425 game on CBS. And so Philly will win this game, even though it's up in Foxborough. I like Philly to win this game 28-14. Two teams on the rebuild, the Raiders and the Broncos. It's a division game, 4:25 p.m. kickoff on CBS. This is going to be a good game. It's an overtime game, and I'm liking Denver in this game. I like Sean Payton. I think he's a better coach. And so I like 24-21 or to give it to Denver in their home opener. The Miami Dolphins and the Los Angeles Chargers. This, in my opinion, is going to be a really high-scoring game. And I like LA to win this game 27-24. That's right. You heard it right here. The LA Chargers will win this game 27-24. It's the Rams and Seattle Seahawks. Well, I gave some love to my fans up in Charlotte, right? And I'm also going to give some love to my fans up in Charlotte. It's the Seattle Seahawkers up in Charlotte. Did you know that one of the largest fan bases for the Seattle Seahawks is up in Charlotte, NC? It's a known fact. So guess what? The Seattle Seahawkers, I've got you winning big against the Rams, 31-10. That game comes your way at 4:25 on Fox. Now we got the Packers and the Bears. Another 4:25 game on Fox. I like the Bears in this game. Green Bay, I'm not quite sure about Green Bay this year. Do they get over losing Aaron Rodgers? That's going to be a big question for Green Bay. How much are you going to miss having Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback? But I like the Chicago Bears in this game, 28-20. Your Sunday night football game. It should be a good one. You've got the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants. It's coming your way on NBC at 8:20 is kickoff time. And, all right, so America's team. Can you go into the Big Apple? Well, actually, let me take that back. New York's not even part of New York. They're up in Jersey. So let me rephrase that. Does America's team have enough to go into New Jersey, the Meadowlands, and knock off the New York Giants in prime time? So I do like the Cowboys, but earlier when I was going over my rankings, I did tell you I love what New York is doing, right? Brian Dibble, first-year head coach, takes his team to the playoffs. So for all my New Jerseyans up there, up in the Meadowlands, I've got you winning this game against the Cowboys in overtime, 35-32. It's going to be a high-scoring game. Now, which brings us to our last game of Week 1 in the NFL. It's the Buffalo Bills. They are also traveling to New Jersey. And by the way, the Buffalo Bills are the only team in New York. I don't care what you tell me. You can tell me about the Jets and the Giants that played the same stadium in the Meadowlands, which is in New Jersey. So the Buffalo Bills, the only team in New York. Let me tell you something. Everyone's picking the Jets to go to the Super Bowl, right? You acquire Aaron Rodgers, all of a sudden you're a bona fide Super Bowl contender. Not so fast, New York. You've got some teams that are much better than you are. Okay? So the Buffalo Bills, in my opinion, everyone in the media is picking them either to not win the AFC East. Some of them are even picking them not even to make the playoffs. I read it. Check this out, right? I read an article earlier where this one sports writer actually came on record to say that he doesn't believe that Josh Allen is putting in all the effort. In fact, in this article, it states that there are some players on the team that are getting fed up with Josh Allen. He's not putting the effort to be a bona fide superstar quarterback. Let me stop that story right here and now. Josh Allen has done more than any quarterback in NFL for the Buffalo Bills. No disrespect to the Jim Kelly or any other quarterbacks who played before. Josh Allen is going to win his Super Bowl for the Buffalo Bills. You heard it first right here on Football Fanatics. You've got Sean McDermott. You've got Brandon Beane. Now, you've heard me say this a million times. In my opinion, Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane are the best coach and GM tandem in the NFL, hands down. Do you not think that Buffalo is licking their chops and is going into the play the Jets? Everyone's doubting them. They're not going to win the AFC East. They're not going to make the playoffs. Your quarterback doesn't give you 110%. Then you add in this Stephon Diggs drama. He wants out of Buffalo. He doesn't like the team. Blah blah blah. Right? So much drama this offseason in Buffalo. Do you not think that they're going to use that as fuel for not only this game against the Jets, but all season long? Buffalo's got something to prove. They've been close the last few years, but somehow, some way, they have not been able to get over the hump. Something always bad seems to happen in Buffalo. This is the year where that dark cloud over Buffalo, it becomes clear, sunny skies. And you heard me first right here. The Buffalo Bills are not only going to win week 1 against the Jets, they're going to have an amazing record this year. And they're going to win some games, and Buffalo will win their 4th straight AFC East. And I'm also on record telling you right here tonight on our show, the Buffalo Bills will be in the playoffs this year, and they will win the Super Bowl. Mark my words. We even haven't begun the games right, have we? That's my prediction. Last year, I picked the Eagles to go to the Super Bowl. Even though I lost, I said the Eagles would win the Super Bowl, right? They didn't, but they made it to the Super Bowl. The Buffalo Bills are going to get there. It's a different team. It's a better team than last year. I had opportunity to go check out some of the Bills podcasts, and I like what those guys are saying. And I agree with what they're saying. You got a better defense. You got a better offense. You've got Sean McDermott, who's calling the plays now. The Bills' defense is going to be a lot more aggressive. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Week 1, those are my predictions. So thank you so much for watching Football Fanatics. We're going to be with you every week. And next time on our show, we'll have my partner in crime, Mr. David Florio. Again, it's your friend Russell K. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And if you have any questions or if there's any topics you want me to discuss in our next Football Fanatics, please send those to info.musicdreamsusa@gmail.com. Again, that's info.musicdreamsusa@gmail.com. Until our next show, please be safe and be kind to your person next door. Do something cool, all right? Thanks for watching Football Fanatics. You take care, be safe, and have a wonderful night.